grade 10 unit 10. So that day we studied about the covalent bond. So that is continuous of the covalent bonds. So in covalent bonds, some compound shows the polarity. Polarity we get in the covalent compounds. So the polarity means when two atoms are making bond, covalent bond, that is the two atoms are with different electron concentration. The number of electrons are different in the external orbit, so that shows the polar property. Now when two atoms unequal electronegativities, that means the external orbit electrons are different, are joined by a covalent bond, it gets polarized due to asymmetric distribution of electrons, not symmetrical. So now here see the hydrogen and fluorine, right? When you take hydrogen and fluorine, here the hydrogen has only one electron. Hydrogen has only one electron, but fluorine in the external orbit 7 electrons are there, because fluorine is atomic number 9, 2, 7. Therefore the external orbit 7 electrons are there. So only one electron making bond with hydrogen. Therefore here the electron concentration is high around fluorine. Therefore the electrons are distributed asymmetrically. That means the bond electrons also attract towards fluorine. Therefore the electron concentration is very high closer to the fluorine. Therefore the fluorine becomes slightly negative charge, because electrons are negative. Therefore the hydrogen, the electron concentration is low, therefore slightly positive charge. So this will happen when two atoms making covalent bond. The two atoms are having different number of electrons. The electrons are distributed not symmetrical, asymmetrically. The polar property we get, right? So that is the polar property. Now we say water molecule. The water molecule also same thing. The H2O, the oxygen atom making bond with two hydrogen atoms. So you know oxygen has 6 electrons in the external orbit, because atomic number 8, 2, 6. So the out of 6 electrons, 2 electrons are making bond with hydrogen, because you know oxygen need 2 more electrons, because it has 6 electrons, 2 more electrons. Therefore out of 6, 2 making bond, the other 4 is not making bond. So these electrons we call lone pair electrons. So these electrons are around the oxygen without making bond. Therefore the oxygen concentration is high around the oxygen when you compare to hydrogen. These bond electrons also attracted towards the oxygen atom, because of here the number of electrons are more around the oxygen. Therefore the oxygen becomes slightly negative charge and hydrogen becomes slightly positive charge. So this is the polar property. So here actually the middle atom or two atoms are combining, the electrons are not distributed symmetrically. The polar property showed in the covalent compounds. Now look at here oxygen. The both two atoms are same atoms, therefore electron concentration is equal. So 2 electron, now 6 electrons out of 2 sharing electron. Here 2 lines are there, 4 electrons are here. So the electron concentration is also equal, symmetrically distributed. Therefore it won't show the polar property. Here also the carbon dioxide also same thing. Carbon, the all 4 electrons in the carbon here making bond. One line shows one pair. So here carbon 4 electrons and the oxygen out of 6, 2 making bond and 4 electrons are there. This also distributed symmetrically both sides. Therefore it won't show the polar property. So the polar property showed by the electrons are distributed asymmetrically between two atoms which are making covalent bond. So that is shown here. The bonding electrons between two atoms distribute symmetrically. They are called non-polar covalent compounds. So here these are non-polar covalent compounds. Mostly the polar property formed group 5, 6, 7 elements. Because when you take, when you see the group 5 atoms, group 5 means the external orbit. Now example, you say nitrogen 2, 5. Right, 2, 5 means actually the nitrogen needs 3 electrons here. So the out of 5, 3 only making bond, the other 2 not making bond. So it remains outside. So the group 5 elements come at the middle of there, that will show the polar property, right? So same way group 6 element, here see 6 element makes the polar property when it comes middle of the compound, right? That so the group 7 also make, because 7 electrons are in the external orbit, only 1 making bond, other 6 are outside. So this is the polar covalent bonds. This is non-polar covalent bonds. So the polar property you will study more in grade 11, right? Next one, intermolecular bonds. Intermolecular bonds are forming between polar covalent compounds, right? Now the attraction among the molecules, that means now we studied the bonds between two atoms. This is the molecule, same molecule, the bonds between the atoms, covalent and ionic compounds we studied. Now we are going to study the bond between two molecules, between molecules, that is the what you call intermolecular bond. So the intermolecular bond formed between these polar covalent compounds. Polar covalent compounds only, the intermolecular bonds formed. Now look at here, you can see here, this is a water molecule, here another water molecule, here also another water molecule. 3 water molecules are shown here. So here this is slightly negative charge, this is the positive charges. This molecule negative positive charges, O atom only having negative charge. So what happened, the positive charge of the atom in one molecule making bond with negative charge of the another atom, another molecule. Now this molecule, the positive charge is one molecule, the negative charge is another molecule. So between these two molecules there is a bond formed, that is the intermolecular bond. So here also the between H plus of this molecule and the O minus from this molecule, the intermolecular bond formed. So actually intermolecular bond formed between the covalent, polar covalent compounds. Now we say hydrogen fluoride, when you take hydrogen plus and fluorine minus, earlier I told you, I explained here. So the same way HF, another molecule also hydrogen fluoride here, HF. So here the bond formed between the minus and plus, minus of the one molecule and the other molecule plus. So here the between F and H there is a bond formed, that is the intermolecular bond. But this is little bit strong bond, right? So there are, the water has intermolecular bond. You know, the when you take water, there are many water molecules. So there is a intermolecular bond between water molecules. So the special properties of water due to attractive forces among the water molecules. So the water has intermolecular bond between the molecules, therefore it has some special properties. High boiling point, you need very high temperature to boil the water. You know the boiling point of water is 100 Celsius. So you need more heat, that is high boiling point. High specific heat capacity, Specific heat capacity you will study in grade 11. Specific heat capacity means to heat the water you need more energy. So that is the heat, high specific heat capacity. So when you raise the temperature of the water by 1 Celsius, you need about 4200 joules. To increase by 1 Celsius, now we say 30 to 31 Celsius, you need 4200 joules. That is the high specific heat capacity. That means the water gets heated very slowly, having higher density than that of ice. Now you know the ice is solid, water is liquid. So we studied normally the solids are more denser than water, but here the other way. That means ice less denser than water. That's why when you put ice in the water, it floats. So these are the some special properties of water because of they have intermolecular bond, right? So that is the thing, right? Next one, we are going to see the difference between ionic compounds and the covalent compounds, right? So there are some differences. You know the ionic compounds, ionic bond we studied earlier, composed by positive and negative ions. Earlier we studied the one atom become positive ion and the other atom becomes negative ion. The attraction between positive and negative ions form ionic compounds. The same way covalent compounds, that is the bond formation between atoms, right? Bond formation between atoms. This is between ions. Then normal temperature solid. That means room temperature mostly ionic compounds are solids. Here the covalent compounds are mostly liquid or gas. Mostly solids also they are, but mostly liquid and gas. You know carbon dioxide, chlorine, right? Methane, ammonia, all we saw as an examples. So that is covalent compounds. High melting and boiling points, ionic compounds. But covalent compounds, low melting and boiling points. Actually the covalent compounds are low melting and boiling point. That means very less temperature it melts and boils. But the ionic compounds, you need more heat to melt or boil the compounds. But the low melting and boiling point covalent compounds, but there are some exception we studied, that is intermolecular bonds. You know the water is a covalent compound, but it has high boiling point because it has intermolecular bonds. The same time the atomic lattice, that is diamond, graphite, those also having high melting and boiling points. That means the covalent compounds are with low melting and boiling point, exception atomic lattice and the compounds which has intermolecular bonds. Then ionic compounds conduct electricity in fuse state. Fuse state means melted form. When you heat and melting, that is fuse state, or in aqueous solution. Aqueous solution means you have to dissolve in water or something. Then we say sodium chloride, when you heat and melt, that is fuse state. Sodium chloride liquid. But when you add sodium chloride with water, that is sodium chloride solution. So the ionic compounds conduct electricity in fuse state or aqueous solution. Last year also grade 9 you studied. That means the mobile ions are needed to conduct electricity in liquids and solution. So the fuse state in aqueous solution also, solutions only we get mobile ions. But the ionic compounds do not conduct electricity in solid state. Solid state they won't conduct electricity. But the covalent compounds do not conduct electricity. Mostly soluble in water. Ionic compounds can dissolve in water, but this is insoluble. That means it won't dissolve. So when they give a solution to you to identify whether it is ionic compound or a covalent compound, you can do an experiment. So you have to take a beaker and put that solution here. That is, you don't know whether it is covalent compound or an ionic compound. So you have to take that solution in a beaker and you have to keep two electrodes. Electrodes, you can use carbon or a metals. Carbon or a metals you can use, and connect these electrodes with battery and a bulb. If it is ionic compound, it has mobile ions, therefore the bulb glows. If it is covalent compound, no mobile ions, therefore the bulb does not glow. So if bulb glows, that is ionic compound. If bulb does not glow, that is covalent compound. So from this experiment, easily you can identify whether it is covalent compound or a ionic compound. So next, melting point and boiling point of compounds. That means if they give the melting point, and the melting point means melting temperature. Boiling point means boiling temperature. A substance has a melting point. So when the substance reach its melting point, what happen? It becomes liquid state, solid to liquid state. When the substance reach its boiling point, it becomes gaseous state from the liquid state. So when they give the melting and boiling point, you should know to identify its physical state. Physical state means solid, liquid or gas. So here some examples are given. If solid substance, the melting and boiling point is greater than room temperature. Room temperature means normal environmental temperature. Now say 25 Celsius is the room temperature. Just I am saying room temperature is 25 Celsius. So at room temperature, the substance is solid. That means it didn't reach the melting point or a boiling point. That's why it remains as a solid. Now it is solid. So solid means at room temperature it is solid. So when it want to become liquid, you have to heat it. So the melting point is higher than the room temperature. So boiling point is more than melting point. That means when the substance first melts and then only boils. So if it is now solid state, that means at room temperature is solid. Therefore, if it want to melt, it needs more heat. Therefore, then only it can melt. So the melting point and boiling point is more than the room temperature. Liquids means at room temperature it is liquid. Now it is liquid means it already melted. That's why now liquid state. So the melting point is less than room temperature. Room temperature 25, right? The melting point is less than 25. That's why it remains now in liquid state, because it already melted. But it didn't reach the boiling point to become gaseous state. So the boiling point is more than the room temperature. Gaseous state means at room temperature gas. That means it already melted and boiled. That means melting and boiling point is less than room temperature. So from that you can identify. Now we say oxygen gas, melting point is, that is oxygen is gas, right? That is melting and boiling point is less than room temperature. Here see minus 218 Celsius and minus 183, less than room temperature. Sodium chloride is solid. Solid means the melting and boiling point is more than room temperature. Here see 801 and 1413. Ethyl alcohol is liquid. That means it already melted at room temperature. Therefore, minus 117 is the melting point. But now it want to become gaseous state. You need more temperature. Therefore, boiling point is more than the room temperature. So from this, when they give the melting point and the boiling point, you can identify the physical state of the substance. In the first part, they will give questions from this, right? So this is the unit 10 that we studied ionic compounds, the that means ionic bonds, the bond formation between positive and negative ions. Positive ion means when the atom release electron it become positive, when the atom accept electron it becomes negative. So why they are making bond? To complete their external orbit to become stability. So between positive and negative ion, the bond formation is the ionic bond. Covalent bond, sharing electron between two atoms, right? So two atoms, the pair of electrons are sharing between two atoms and complete their external orbit. So here we studied the difference between ionic compounds and covalent compounds, at the same time polar covalent compounds and the non-polar covalent compounds. And you know to write the Lewis structures. For the covalent compounds only we will get Lewis structures, right?